This next section, we'll actually try a couple examples where we're trying to find median, and mode. So let's have the calculator. Let's try the TI-30 this time. This is a calculator that you're allowed to use on the EOCT, so we'll try to use it for the remainder of the course. So let's try this by pressing, if you first turn on your calculator, which is, let me show you where the bottom is, turn it on, and then press the data button. Now if you already have data in here, if you'll just press data a second time, and you can hit clear L1 if in case there's something in it. But once you have it cleared out, then you can just start entering all the data. So I'll begin by entering each one of these. So the first one, 11,000, and then press enter. 10,000. So this will help us find at least two of the centers for us. And just be careful to watch your zeros. 91,000, 92,000, 80,000, 81,000, 88,000, 93,000, 91,000, and finally 73,000. You could also do it by hand like we did earlier, but after you have all the data entered in, which I've now successfully entered that in, you need to get to the stat button. So you hit second, stat, and we want to choose one variable, statistics, press enter, and it's asking us right here, is the data in L1? It is. It's the first list. Is the frequency 1? It is. So we can simply move this down to calculate now and press enter, and it calculates a lot of information for us. First being the mean, that's the X bar, is 71,000. So we'll put that up here. So we just determined that the mean is 71,000. And if you scroll down a little bit further in the calculator, it'll also give us median. Now some of these other numbers we'll talk about later, but that sample standard deviation, that's standard deviation, that's the sum of all the data. The minimum value is 10,000, the first quartile 73,000, and there's the median. That's another one we need for the measures of center. So the measure of center, another one is 84,500. And the one that doesn't give you is mode. Mode is just the one that occurs the most. So we'll need to do this one by hand and just look at it. So do we have any numbers that occurred more than once? Well, if you look, we did have 91,000 occur twice, and we didn't have any other number occur more than once, I believe. So in this case, the mode is 91,000. Now remember earlier we talked about the discerning which median or which center is the best in this case, and you can see in this example we have two outliers. Do you see we have both of these last two right here, that 11,000 and 10,000 are outliers? Which these outliers drastically affect the mean. The mean isn't a very good measure of center, because if you said the average was 71,000 for all these 10 employees right here, it would be kind of misleading, because if you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people make, 8 of the 10 people make way more than $71,000. It's these two outliers that maybe they're part-time workers that brought the average salary down, but it's more accurate to say half the employees make less than 84,000 and half the employees make more than 84,000. So the most appropriate center in this case would be the median, because of the outliers. Because of 11,000 and 10,000 are outliers. Alright, so let's try the next one. A company selling box crackers and wishes to list the number of crackers on the box contained in each box. So we basically have another data set of numbers, so I'm going to probably resort to using the calculator quickly to this fast again. So I'll press data, clear L1, and then I'll just move this calculator down so I can begin entering each of those numbers in. Alright, so in this case we have, it looks like 20 data points. So 45, enter, 50, enter, 48, 50, 50 again, 50 again, 51, and then 50, and then 50 again, and 50 again. A lot of 50s, 49, 50, 50, 51, 50, 50, 50, 54, 50, and finally 51. Again, I can press second stat now after I've all entered in, and choose one variable, statistics, and pretty much just hit enter and then take it down to calculate and hit enter again. So this time we find the mean is 49.95. Let's see, we find the median. If we scroll down enough, it'll give us the median right there. Median is 50. which is just the middle number. And clearly we know the mode is 50. I mean, think about how many times I entered 50. There's 20 data points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of the data points are 50. This is the one time it's appropriate to consider the mode as the best center, because anytime more than half of the data points are the same number, the mode is a good center to choose. So I'm going to say that the most appropriate center in this case would be the mode. Consider mode because more than half the data is 50. Or that half the data points is 50. All right, the next one. A student has the following grades in a math class. This is a really controversial one right here, because whenever you do grades, it's almost always that we assume to take the average. So let's first do what we've done before. Hit data 2 times, clear it out, and then let me move the calculator down and enter these numbers in. So 94, 92, student did really well to start with. 85, actually it looks like they did great for all these. 96, 94. I mean, the student pretty much made A's and then a couple B's, and then right at the end they made a 0. And so let's see how that 0 actually affects their grade. So after I've entered all the data in, we're going to hit second stat, one variable statistics, and enter, 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 and here we're going to get an average of 82.3. Doesn't seem fair, really. They had pretty much all A's and now have a low B if you go by the average. And if you scroll down to the median is 92. It means half the grades are above 92 and half the grades are below 92. And the mode, let's see if anything occurred twice. No, 94 didn't occur twice, 92 did occur twice. 85 did not occur more than once, 90 did not occur more than once, 96. So I'm just going through each one and trying to see if anything occurred more than once. So it appears that 92 is the mode. Alright, so in this case, we had an outlier again. So mathematically speaking, of the three common centers, the best center to describe the center of all those numbers is 92. So that's kind of misleading, because when we do averages, as teachers usually, we're just assume that we take the average. But in reality, if you do have an outlier, which 0 is truly an outlier, the median is a better measure of center. So if you're going by mathematically, statistically speaking, the measure of center that would be most appropriate in this case would most likely be the 92. So maybe a good argument to make next time you have a 0 in a class with this an outlier. So I'm going to say 92 is the best. Median. And I'm just going to say because 0 is an outlier. And an outlier adversely affects the mean. Alright, let me do one more and then we're going to stop this video and start part 3 of the video. It says a student has the following grades in a math class. So this is the same kind of problem again, but now the grades are going to be a little different. So let's go and same thing as before. We have a new set of grades, so I'm going to hit data twice and hit enter to clear it out. And let me move the calculator down. Actually, I can see them right there. That's fine. So I just enter all the grades in now. So this student made a 70, a 72, a 68, a 67, a 71, a 98, a 100, a 92, a 71, and an 88. Alright, so then we can hit second stat, one variable statistics, enter, 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 and we can find the average this time at 79.7. And let's see what the median is. The median is 71.5, so half the grades are above 71.5 and half the grades are below 71.5. Let's see if there's a mode. Alright, so in this case, 70 didn't occur more than once, 72 did not occur more than once, 68 did not, 67 did not, 71 occurred twice. So, and the other numbers occurred more than once, so 71 is our mode. Alright, in this case, we really don't have a number that occurs more than half the time, so we shouldn't consider mode. Median would require an outlier. We don't really have an outlier. We've got grades from 67 to 100, but they're all kind of evenly spaced. There's no big gaps. So really not median. So in this case, all the numbers are relatively close together, and so the mean is the best case in this case. And so we'll say mean, because all data points, and I'm going to put this in quote, are relatively close compared to each other. Alright, let me stop this for part 2 of the video, and I'll finish up, and we got one more page to do for part 3.